Acceptance doesn't mean sign me up, I'm good to go. That's not what acceptance means.
And I want people to understand is creating space around the discomfort. Now you begin to have this state, instead of contraction, you have this state of inner openness.
I fell to my knees. I started crying because the obsession had been removed. It had been relieved, like it was plucked out of me. I started getting honest and not turning a blind eye.
Here's what nobody tells you about recovery. The feelings you're running from aren't trying to destroy you. They're trying to save you. But here's the thing. They need time. And in a world that tells you to get over it and think positive, we're going to tell you today something extremely radical. Let your feelings take their time, because resistance to what you're feeling is what's actually killing you, not the feeling itself. Welcome to Recovered Addict Podcast. Dwayne, what's up? How's it going?
What up, Jake? Good to see you, bro.
Yes. One of the things I was thinking about the other day, and hope is such a big word, and one of the things that I was thinking about our podcast is that we provide actionable hope. I've always heard it's so funny. I would have a boss and it would be like, here's hope and here's shit, and they come together. And I was thinking of like everything we always do in our podcast, and we encourage everybody to go back and listen. One, we've been there, done it, got the t-shirt. And then number two, we're always giving you like tools and action items to be able to be recovered.
Yes, absolutely. What is the other way to say shit deal is, do you know what potential is doing for me now? Jack shit. And here on the Recovered Addict Podcast, Jason and I aren't really interested in just existing in potential. Potential without action or faith without works is dead. And so we always try and be very realistic and action-oriented when it comes time to start conquering these fears or conquering these addictions that we have in front of us. It's a lot of practical application, not just, yeah, that sounds nice. Good. I'll see you next week.
Yeah. It's like when we talk about emotions, and that's what we're going to talk about today, it sounds crazy to some people who spent years either trying to numb out, when you talked about that in alcohol, or you look at it and you say, hey, I don't know how to handle this. I don't know what's going on in my brain. These emotions are just taking over. And at the end of this podcast, what we're going to do, Dwayne and I are going to give you 3 specific tools to stop fighting your emotions. And we're also going to teach you how to learn from them. Plus, we're going to give you a technique that will rewire your brain in 21 days. But I want to start off with something. You've been recovered for what, 14 years now?
15 now.
15, holy shit. So think about that. Do you have you got a 15 year coin? Everybody always gives like coins, or tokens, or cool little things like that. When you think about it, Dwayne, as far as things that we fight in our daily lives or things that are happening in our lives, whether it's family, friends, or whatever. I know you shared with me a personal story before it started. You're 15 years in and you're still fighting emotions sometimes. We all are, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, there's no end or graduation in recovery. As I got the diploma, I'm good. Don't need to continue to learn. And that's one of our prayers that we prompt everyone here on their own recovery journey is, God, keep me hungry. God, keep me teachable.
Mm-hmm.
And if that is the case, if I'm still teachable, if I'm still engaged on the path, then there's more to be revealed, more to be revealed. And that kind of speaks to Jacob's ladder in the story in the Old Testament. He wrestled with this angel and went through something hard, challenging, and it changed him. He got injured from it. And then he had this vision, had this dream of these angels going up and down this ladder and this spiral into heaven. And that's what our recovery journey or life path is like in general. It can be a spiral upward.
Yeah.
And sometimes we go up and down on that spiral, up and down on that spiral. It's the same as 2 steps forward, 1 step back. But if my prayer is, God, keep me hungry, God, keep me teachable, there doesn't have to be an end to that spiral, to that evolution, to that expansion. I can keep growing. I can keep improving. I can keep growing. I can keep improving. And now what it looks like for me 15 years later are greater depths of understanding, maybe a little bit of emotional sobriety, a little bit of inner peace. Do I actually have any serenity at all? Today, the bottle is not the issue. I'm not suffering from picking up a bottle of alcohol and pouring it down my throat. But often we do suffer from being extremely judgmental or extremely fearful, so much so that it dominates our thoughts, it dominates our daily existence. And so we start getting into these deeper levels of recovery when we start to address inner peace, an inner peace practice, an emotional mastery practice. No one ever gets to master their emotions, but maybe we have some tools to manage them.
Yes. Yeah. And Eckhart Tolle, you listen to him a ton, and you always share things with me, what he says. If for people that don't know, he's a prominent spiritual teacher. He talks about that suffering does not originate from the emotion itself, but it's from the identification with the egoic mind. And then what we always do is the story. Addicts are really good about making the story in the head that accommodate it. So what he talks about, when he talks about being present, but we can all say that. I always think it's, well, just be present. Just be present. It's, what the hell is that? Because the mind wants to make, it gets, with addiction especially, we get addicted to these distressing narratives. And we always are looking at the past regrets of what has happened in our lives with our family and friends with addiction. And then we want to think about future anxieties. That's what we're addicted to, the past regrets and the future anxieties. And when you do that, and Eckhart Tolle, he talks about like wanting what one has, so, like in the sense of having, and this is really good. One of the teachings that he has that really got me into this, and I want people to understand, is creating space around the discomfort. And when you can create space around the discomfort, and how you do that is by being present, but then it creates like this natural surrender, because now you begin to flow into what is real life, and real life is living in the present moment. But it allows God, our higher conscious, our higher self, allows consciousness to tweak in there and at that present moment, because that's where it operates in. That's the fourth density, or whatever you want to call it, that higher self is operating in. So now you begin to have this state, instead of contraction, you have this state of inner openness. And so now I can begin, and this is the crazy part Eckhart Tolle teaches, which is it so fucked up my brain. Now I can begin to understand, oh, the higher self is the true reality that I can put into the situation. What my brain is doing, the emotion behind the story, the egoic mind, is not true. And it's kind of like recognizing a physical wound. We're like, oh my God, I got this physical wound. Oh, I'm looking at it, my leg, I got this huge cut, and then I'm going to worry about it and think about it, and I'll never do anything about it. You know, and how do you heal that? How do you change the wound, and how do you address it? Like, how do you, I got to do something. I think that's the present moment. And his teachings in this, and especially understanding you're actually addicted to suffering. You're addicted to your egoic mind. You're not understanding what true reality is in the present moment.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We're getting deep right away today. This is deep level spirituality, and I think we encourage everyone to go check out Eckhart Tolle. Some of the greatest teachings that I've received from him in regards to this disidentification and suffering is, on the surface, just like you said, Jay, I'm addicted to the emotion.
Yes.
So I'm addicted to the emotion of anger and resentment in the past, because then I'm egoically superior, or I'm the victim, but I'm still angry. I still have the cortisol being released. I still have the adrenaline being released. I'm addicted to these emotions of the past. And then I'm addicted to the fear of the future. So a same deal, cortisol, adrenaline being released. And both those two things, we like to say, if I have one foot in the past and one foot in the future, I shit all over today.
Yes.
And so both those two things take me out of the present moment. One of the helpful Eckhart Tolle tools is any stress. So let's say I'm experiencing stress from the past in my mind. I'm experiencing stress from the future in my mind. Any stress, period, is my inability to accept the present moment for what it is. So we're talking about radical acceptance now when we are discussing the present moment. Acceptance, like Christ on the cross, does not mean I like this. Acceptance does not mean I condone this behavior. Acceptance does not mean I'm okay with this. Acceptance doesn't mean sign me up. I'm good. I'm good to go. That's not what acceptance means. Acceptance just means this is happening. I am not going to resist the isness of the situation. This is happening. So once we come from a place of acceptance, we're no longer resisting reality. Oh, the past should have been different. They shouldn't have treated me that way. The future needs to be different. What if this doesn't happen the way I need it to happen? None of that, all of that is out of our control, and all of that is delusional because I can't change it anyways. So we start to come from a place of radical acceptance, the isness of the situation. And then the very cool piece that you talked about, Jay, with Eckhart and the disidentification, entering the fourth dimension, entering fifth dimension here. I like to do the vertical cross. It's good to go there again. We have our horizontal realm of existence. We could call this the 3D world. And in the 3D world, it's very easy to identify with situations. In any situation, there are three components. First component is the situation. Let's say I got in a fight with my boss. That's the situation. When I think about the fight in my mind, I think about it. So I'm identified with this fight. And then the second component in the three-part here is my emotional response. What's my emotional response? My emotional response is fear, anger, frustration, resentment, worry. So then I identify with the emotions. I'm fear, I'm angry. And then for most people, especially addicts, they just bounce back and forth. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And that's the way they navigate the world. They're going from situation to energetic response. Situation, energetic response. I'm in traffic, I'm pissed off, energetic response. I'm getting laid, I'm happy. Got a raise, I'm excited. I'm eating ice cream, I'm getting dopamine, I'm excited. So for most people, that's their entire existence. With the radical acceptance piece and then having a spiritual practice, we want to disidentify from the world of form and start to identify with the world of spirit. So we enter vertical dimension here, and this is where we use big terms like God consciousness, shoes of inner being. We use many terms because any one term limits it. So it's the higher consciousness is something bigger than our brains can wrap around easily because we live in the 3D world. The vertical dimension of higher consciousness, these are things I can't hold in my hand. So consciousness, love, forgiveness, peace, eternal soul, spirit of the universe. we all of these are good terms. You guys find which one resonates for you. And then the tool here is I want my identity to be grounded firmly in the realm, in the vertical dimension of spirit, because the realm of spirit is not going anywhere. These things are eternal. They are not subject to birth or death. They are without birth or death. They are eternal. They are timelessness. So that exists forever. My God consciousness is not going anywhere. My soul, my inner being, the spirit of the universe, all of that is eternal. So I want my identity to be grounded in the eternal vertical dimension, which means I can honor the roles of the horizontal world. I am a father. That's the situation. Sometimes it's very frustrating and challenging. Those are my emotional responses. And I can honor these roles, but it's not my identity. It doesn't make Dwayne who he is, because then if my kids grow up, who am I?
Gone.
Did I kill myself? Am I nobody now? If I'm identified with my job and I lose my job, what do? Do I go into depression because I'm nobody? Now I don't have my identity. So we honor the world of form, we honor these roles, but we disidentify from the world of form and we identify with the realm of spirit, because these things are concrete and these things are transient.
That's so good, bro. That is so good. And it's so right on, because I think that explains it. Like you explained it with clarity. Everybody needs to understand exactly where they're at. And whenever we talk about looking at addiction, it's really the resistance and the discomfort. It's the problem. It creates this self-reinforcing cycle. Discomfort leads to resistance. Resistance, according to Eckhart Tolle, generates suffering. And then suffering in turn drives the search for this temporary escape. What's the temporary escape? It's whatever addiction that you find your fancy. And the addiction gives you like this temporary relief, but what it's doing is deepening the underlying discomfort, and it makes the pattern of resistance even tougher. So now you're in this emotional, fucked up mindset in this loop that you can't get out of. It's like hamster wheel of addiction, all because of that. And I want to get into it, and you've heard of her. She's controversial, but I like her teachings, Teal Swan. It's an emotional experiencing process. And a lot of people, and it's like shadow work type of a thing. But she talks about like this avoidance. And when you avoid something, it's always going to, this is a universal law, that it's always going to exacerbate the underlying problem. So that you have to go into the problem, and that takes courage, that takes honesty, a lot of things that an addict, we don't have. We want to run from things. So the true objective, she says, of shadow work is to understand oneself, know thyself, rather than try to control. See, that's a lot of religions want you to control the flaw, control the addiction, or eradicate it. Like we're going to go to abstinence or whatever it may be. What she's designed is a way to fully feel, release, and then extract valuable insights. And she believes when you become self-aware, and I think this has happened in your life when you were at the pool, I think that was a God moment, but that was like a higher self-aware moment. That's when you begin to see valuable insights. So you were able to pull yourself out of the situation while you're cleaning a pool, and you saw the emotion from a distance. So you're like, oh, okay, this is the trigger. And then once you can see the trigger, then up comes the unresolved trauma. Now, I want to stop there, but I want to go more into her teachings. But talk about your pool moment, because I think it's so great.
Yeah, man. So I had been exposed to a recovery program, and very similar to the idea of disidentification from the emotions. I'm very grateful to have been exposed to the teachings that I've been exposed to have the guidance, the spiritual advisors that I've had. My spiritual advisor at the time was leading me down a path towards disidentification from addiction. My identity for a long time was I'm an addict. I'm an alcoholic. This is just what I am. This is what I do. This is what I do. This is who I am. This is who I am. And if I'm addicted to something, I have an obsession. An obsession is a thought that will block out all other thoughts. My mom's safety is important to me. It does not enter my mind when I have an obsession for alcohol.
Yes.
My brother's safety, my brother's inner peace, that is important to me. It matters to me. But it does not enter my mind if I have an obsession for drugs and alcohol. I can block those things out, and the disease of alcoholism or addiction kicks in, and I can be extremely self-centered, and I get what I want, regardless of these other outside influences that I'm supposed to be thinking about. They don't enter an alcoholic or addict's mind. So I have an obsession. So the prompt that was given to me by my spiritual advisor was, God relieve me of this obsession. God relieve me of this obsession. God relieve me of this obsession. It was a prayer for me, which I treated like a mantra. One of the nice Navajo quotes that we use all the time is, every step can be a prayer.
Yeah.
So I want to start living my prayers. I put my prayers into action. And I just, at that time, didn't have that good of an understanding. So I just prayed every time I took a step. I said, God, relieve me of this obsession. God, really, I thought I took it literal.
That's great then.
And so it prompted the mantra for me, which was very circular, which was very vortexual, which was very repetitious. And I started neuro-repatterning my addiction. My normal neural pathway would be go get a bottle. So I started rewiring that neural pathway to say, God, I need your help with this. God, I need your help with this. God, relieve me of this obsession. God, relieve me of this obsession. It happen overnight. Sometimes that happens overnight for people. For me, it was about 6 months. And I'd been praying that prayer, using that mantra whenever I walk. God, relieve me of this obsession. God, relieve this obsession. To try and do the best I could early in recovery. And I was living in Taos. It was summer, so I had seasonal work. I was a snowboard instructor in the winter, and I was a landscaper in the summer, and I was a glorified pool boy. And I was cleaning the pool there at the Houston residence, beautiful property. And it was very helpful for me in early recovery to get into the earth. I didn't know that then, but I know it now. I was grounded. I was digging. I was in the soil. I was planting. I was beautifying things. And that was very important for my early recovery, was to help make things better, to make this property better, not destroy things like the way I had been for years and years. And so all of that was unfolding at once. And then it hit me like a lightning bolt while I was cleaning the pool. Well, I hadn't thought about drinking. I didn't want it. I hadn't thought about going to go get it. I hadn't thought about, man, I can't let my spiritual advisor down. I'm not going to do it. It just hadn't even entered my mind. It hadn't entered my mind, Jay. It'd probably been like 2 weeks. And I had the realization at the pool. Boom. I fell to my knees. I started crying because the obsession had been removed. It had been relieved, like it was plucked out of me. And this is something, brother.
Going up that vertical path.
Yes, we were going up Jacob's ladder. Absolutely, absolutely. With repetition, higher consciousness. God, relieve me of this obsession. God, relieve me of this obsession. And that obsession was something I designed my entire life around for years. I made every single decision based on how can we get it, who's holding, how long is it going to last, how much money do we need to make before we run out? Okay, who can provide us more? And after those 6 months with that repetition and that neural repatterning, it was a miracle, bro. I've experienced many miracles in recovery, but that's one of the biggest. That obsession was removed. Now I have the same affinity for that bottle as I do for mayonnaise. I don't fucking care about mayonnaise. I'm pretty neutral about mayonnaise. So I've been placed in a position of neutrality. I'm not charged. I'm not like fighting it. I hate this. Keep it away from me. I just feel nothing.
Yeah.
Like it's an absolute miracle.
Parties and people are drinking around you and nothing.
Absolutely. I worked in a bar for over a decade and served liquor to people every single day. And I was not tempted to I better throw this back.
Yeah.
Let me see what old fashioned does to me now. It's been 15 years. Let's see how it treats me. I don't have those thoughts anymore. And if sometimes old thoughts do creep in, I'm a cherry. I never had a cherry in a drink. That might be okay. Right. The prayer is still the same. 15 years later, the prayer is still, God, relieve me of this obsession. God, relieve me of this obsession.
Yeah, that's so good, bro. And it's an understanding. And I want to get, because what you were saying is so true. This way,
yes,
our best attempt at treating the real problem is addiction. That's this way. The only option to handle this deep, incessant discomfort that I have, the emotional pain that I'm suppressing, the psychological wounds, or past trauma that I can't handle. On this plane, the best way to do it is through addiction. Through its substance, behavior. That creates, this is the coping mechanism. And so that becomes, this is the shadow work. This is the shadow aspect. Because this is, that plane just says, hey, get temporary relief. This is, and so when you're in your addiction, it's reinforcing that suppression, creating this cycle, and the root issue is still unhealed. It's like having on your leg and you're just dumping morphine all on it to numb it, but no one's healing the gaping wound that you have on your leg that's wide open on your thigh. And this is where I think Teal Swan is so good with this, because she says, and this is, I want you to talk about this. This is really good. She talks about a lot of times people will do spiritual bypassing, where they'll add like fake positivity, or they can quote Bible verses, or they'll have like fake prayers. And so they're focusing on something positive for the sake of trying to be positive. But what they're really doing is using that in a sneaky way. The ego is, it's ignoring what's actually needs to be gone through. You got to go through the negative bullshit. You've got to work on it. And then you'll have, like you did at the pool, you have this moment where it's, holy fuck, I haven't thought for 2 weeks. Wow, I'm not my addiction. I'm not an alcoholic. I'm actually like, actually, God loves me and he cares for me. That realization hits. And this is really good because Esther Hicks, we all talk about her. She has an emotional guidance scale. And she talks about like general emotional growth. When you begin to acknowledge it and don't do, till Swan said, the spiritual bypassing, then you start to heal that festering, unhealed wound. Because she goes, you need to look at your addiction as this festering, unhealed wound. And when you're honest and you begin to understand that I have guilt and shame, and here's the wound, and the wound is full, the emotion is guilt and shame, then it begins to, and this is what's really cool about it, is you begin to build, and that's what you did by praying all the time and having these affirmations. You're just like, every step, this is what I'm going to do. You don't even realize it, but you become more authentic to who you really are. The self,
Yes.
you didn't even know who that person was. If I just said, hey, the higher self, Dwayne, can look at a bottle and then not even bother. The higher self, Dwayne, has amazing emotional well-being. The higher self, Dwayne, can go to a party and hang out with people and talk to them and have a great time and not have to drink alcohol. If I'd have told you that at 18, 19, 20, you'd have been like, you're fucking high.
Yeah, bro, this is so powerful. I knew it was going to be deep in spirituality today. This is and thank God for Teal Swan. She's great. Matt Kahn has some interesting stuff too on the bypass. And even to say it just the way it resonated for me was the Matt Kahn version. And he said, people don't like to feel what it is to be in pain. I don't want to feel the pain. So then I just turn a blind eye to the thing that's kicking my ass, my addiction.
Yes.
And that's a bypass. And then even in recovery, we can do that with our emotions, with our anger, with our judgment.
Just real quick, I heard somebody call it our feelings.
Yeah, exactly. It's like these ones I pay attention to, but those ones leave over there. This is just that Jacob's ladder, deeper level. More will be revealed. More will be revealed. Deeper levels of the onion are unfolding here. So if I'm interested in continuing down this path, I really don't want to turn a blind eye to the things that are kicking my ass. I want to approach them. I want to look at them. There's something that takes place even neurochemically, but also at the epigenetic level when we choose to confront something challenging rather than having it thrown on us. So let's say something difficult is thrown on me. I don't want to look at it, can't deal with it. We're instantly in prey mode. It's like my body shrinks, I get smaller, I'm ready to hide. Don't look at this, don't deal with this. Victim. The different genes are turned on inside the body. If I can say, I'm going to confront this thing and I'm not going to let it be the dragon that defeats me anymore. We can literally turn on new genes in the body and release different chemicals in the brain that help us switch from prey to predator or challenger in the situation. And so it's like, I'm confronting the dangerous thing. You probably need to be afraid of me, motherfucker. I'm coming for you. And it just completely flips the script just in regards to my perception. But in regards to the spiritual bypass, this is such an old character defect, bro. This is like what the Egyptian creation story is about. Osiris is the old king and he's willfully blind. He knows he's supposed to be looking at his fucking horrific brother, Set, but he's not willing to look. And Set usurps him, chops him into pieces, spreads him all over Egypt. And then Horus, Isis finds Osiris's phallus and makes herself pregnant, and she gives birth to Horus. And Horus is the all-seeing eye. He's a falcon. He has magic vision. And he is the thing that looks at Set, at Satan, at the ego. And he confronts it. It damages him. It fucking takes a piece of him, but at least he looks. He confronts Set. He defeats his uncle. And then he goes down into the underworld and puts his father back together. And that's our job in recovery on a hero's journey is no. If you turn a blind eye, This thing is going to kill you.
Mm-hmm.
I have to look at it. It's probably going to damage me, but at least I know I'm in the fight. And then I have a chance to go back down into the morality, the family, the structure, the foundation that I was given in early childhood, breathe new life into that, and build a whole new existence for myself and the people in my life. I can rebuild my life if I confront the challenging thing. So the spiritual bypass is, no, you need to look at this. We don't get to turn a blind eye to this because you and your family are not going to heal anymore. If I could tell that personal story, bro, this has been a very powerful week for me. You and I get to do this, and I'm very grateful that we get to share with other people spiritual practices, and this is a journey that we can be of service to other people. And you and I have been doing this for many years, and we've had awesome speaking opportunities and great practice in regards to speaking opportunities. And basically, I got really pretty words. Like, I have the pretty words now. I know what to say.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of you guys don't know. I haven't been very open with this, honest with this. But my mom she's struggling. She's only 64 and she's been diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's. And this has been going on for years. And I've kept this pretty close to the chest. I don't really talk about it. I don't share with others. I was communicating with one of my spiritual advisors last week, and he challenged me to, okay, stop turning a blind eye to what you're feeling around your mother's disease.
Mm-hmm.
This is the sad deal. She's not the same woman anymore. She's like a grown 5-year-old now, cognitively. And there's a very big difference between sounding pretty and feeling the feelings. So sounding pretty is the spiritual bypass.
Yeah.
I know what to say.
Mm-hmm.
I know that my mom has an eternal, intrinsic spirit that I can tap into from wherever I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
And she's going to the next experience. She's going to the next dimension. And I know that I'll be able to communicate with her even after death. And I know all of that is true. But that's not the same as feeling the feelings of her changing, of her being taken by this disease, of her brain degenerating.
Mm-hmm.
And what was revealed with my spiritual advisor was, I'm being the lone wolf. I'll just soldier the fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
I can do it. I'll figure it out all over again. This is how I tried to get sober for 8 years, and it never worked until I started asking God and other people for help. So now I'm doing the same behavior 15 years later with my emotions of sadness. I'll do it. I'll figure it out. I know what to do. I can walk through my mom. I'll be the strongest person at my mom's funeral. Watch me do it. And the character defect that arises from that is lack of humility. I'm not being right-sized. I'm thinking I'm King Dwayne and I can handle it all by myself. And grief and loss is a hard thing to handle for anyone, let alone being by myself. So anyways, I was at the group that I go to Wednesday evening. My spiritual advisor challenged me to share about this with others, stop being the lone wolf. It was a small gathering that evening, only 16 people in the room. And I was in the corner. Since it was so small, I was sitting by myself. And I shared this about my mom, about how she's sick. She's preparing to die. We're preparing to lose her, but we still have time with her. So now it's time to feel the emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Thank goodness we have tools to manage these emotions after.
Yes.
But this is just what's up for me. So I got vulnerable with this group of people. And I was sitting there alone. And the minute that I said that, brother, one of the guys on the other side of the room stood up, walked around to me, moved a chair, and sat next to me. And he said, "You don't get to sit alone when you say shit like that." And I grabbed his shoulder. I said, "Thank you." So he sat with me in my moment of need. And he said, "My mom passed away last year. I know what you're going through." And then it was like, the minute I opened my mouth, bro, I wasn't alone. Me, someone to walk through this thing with.
Mm-hmm.
The moment I started getting honest and not turning a blind eye, not doing the spiritual bypass. It was like, here, you're not the lone wolf.
Right.
Here's a soldier with you right now.
Yeah, there's an emotional freedom in that. Like where you can
I don't have to do it.
Dwayne, you got to worry about people are going to stab you in the back. I think then you got to judge everything. And then those people are weak. Look how strong I am. I didn't cry during my mom's funeral. It's always like the seeking person. I always got to try to find something. It's the ego identified mind. It's this where you just dropped into pure awareness like you did at the pool. Because you finally recognize that you're like, oh shit, I am being the lone wolf. And what's crazy about this is there's freedom in that state, but we don't want to go there a lot of times because, and this is the crazy part, one is already the awareness. We are already the I am. We just got, like you said, we just got to fix our attention on that because we are the I am. Jesus said that greater works that we would do than even he did.
Yes.
And it's like the focus and then trying not to get distracted from everything else. But that policing of the feeling is what that is. I'm going to be strong. And I'm going to do it. I'm going to wing it. I got this shit. I'm not fucking weak. I went through alcohol. I can go through this instead of just having that presence and knowing that I am. I want to get into that. That's an amazing story, Dwayne, but I want to get into something super practical. That's an instruction. So did you say this when you're remaining, everybody that's listening, when you remain in the undivided in that I am, when you're in that higher self and that God state, there's something that's really cool in that you can begin to say, and this is really great. You could say that emotion where you would say, I'm angry. Like I'm super pissed. I'm so angry. I'm angry that my mom got sick. She should have done this. She should have done that. I'm angry that her husband is not doing this and this. It's just that emotion of I am angry. Where the awareness of the emotion is all you have to, it's just one little flip. It's like, I am aware of anger. I am aware of sadness.
Very good.
I am aware. I am not sadness. Because when you say I am angry, you're identifying, you're using those two powerful words, the I am. And so when you say I'm aware, then that impulsive addictive reaction to allow those feelings to come up, the triggers, they all begin to pop up because your identification is the I am. So I'm angry. Every relationship fight I've ever been in, I always say I am. I am so fucking pissed right now. It's so funny that I use I am all the time. Never hardly ever in a positive way or in a neutral, even in a neutral way. The Dalai Lama, he talked about this, and I'll give it over to you, but he talks about the concept of the pause between stimulus and response. And that's the spiritual practice. Can you get that one little second or millisecond? Can you do the pause? Just pause for me. That's the spiritual practice. Just the pause. If you could get the pause down, you've already begun to experience emotional freedom.
Absolutely. Jordan says that pause will save you $250,000 in divorce court. If you could get the pause down, he says that's like a semi-fatal disease. You should really learn to just keep your fucking mouth shut. But exactly right. You know, what a beautiful tool, Jay. That's a beautiful tool. You just offered everybody the insertion of the word aware. Mm-hmm. So I am pissed off. I am angry. Just insert that word. I am aware of anger. Mm-hmm. It tweaks it and allows me to disidentify from the emotion. You know what? I still am going to be angry. I'm still going to feel the feeling. I'm still going to feel the feeling of anger. I'm still going to experience anger. That's not going to go away. I'm still going to experience the feeling of fear. That's not going anywhere. That is God-given. We need that to preserve our life. It helps me know not to jump off a cliff. So those aren't going away, but I don't have to identify with the fear. I don't have to identify with the anger. I go down the rabbit hole and then I spiral out and I'm lost in thought and everybody is fucking against me.
Yes.
So that I am aware of the feeling of anger. Mm-hmm. I am aware of fear. We're talking about emotional mastery now. To disidentify from the emotion means I'm free. If it's space, so if I'm not the emotion, what am I?
Yeah.
I'm the aware space that is observing all that nonsense. I'm the conscious awareness that observes the anger. So very powerful, very powerful. There's a big difference between being sober and being free. Because I can be sober, not putting alcohol down my throat, and still terrified of my boss, or still really pissed off in my relationship. And I don't want to navigate the world that way. I want to walk through the world a free man. So we start disidentifying from the emotions and tiptoeing into freedom.
Yes. Yeah. It was interesting. I don't know if you ever watch or listen to Jordan. You brought this up, Jordan Peterson's daughter.
Oh, yeah, Michaela.
And she had a lady on that's a neuroscientist called Dr. Carolyn Leaf. And Carolyn Leaf, I thought this was so interesting. I brought it in today. She has this 21-day brain detox. And she's a doctor, and she's leading neuroplasticity. She figures all that stuff out. This is way above my head. But she has these really, because I want to take the remaining few minutes that we have and get into what does this look like? And Dr. Leaf, she has a 5-step Neuro-Cycle for managing the mind. So you don't even have to be woo. So if you guys don't believe in God or any of that stuff, you can be an atheist and do this. That her steps are, number one is gather awareness. So that's this initial step, which we talked about, is focusing on the now moment and then identifying the emotional, physical, and behavioral warning signals. Like I'm feeling worry, or I have a fluttering heart. I found out that I'm addicted to, and we've talked about this before. I know that I'm in my addiction whenever I feel like I'm going to get caught or I'm doing something. Yeah. I like the feeling, that fucked up feeling of I may get caught doing this, or I'm going to get busted and go to jail or whatever it may be. And you have the same thing because you told me.
You, me, and every other addict have that. I get more high from the feeling of fear of getting caught than I do from the drugs.
And she said that it's a chemical bond with proteins that our brain likes. It gets used to this negative thought network. We've created this big negative thought network in our neuroplasticity.
Yep.
So she says this act of gathering awareness, it loosens, they have brain scans and stuff. It loosens those proteins and chemical bonds. It like tears them apart. Just gaining awareness. Like awareness doesn't have to be a spiritual word. That's just
very cool. Very cool.
And then
out of observation comes transformation. The mere fact that you can observe the feeling means it's starting to shift.
Yes. And you're really big on the next two, and I want to go with them real. The number 2, she says, is reflect, have deep reflection, and then ask why. Why I have awareness of this anger. Why am I angry? Oh, shit. I haven't ate today. Most relationship, she was talking about this. She said it's 80% of relationship fights are because one of the two haven't ate yet.
I believe that 100%.
So let's go eat, and then we'll have this conversation.
You're not angry. You're hungry.
Yeah. So it's like reflecting to find the understanding of the underlying cause. And then number 3, and I want you to talk about this one, Dwayne, is write. Journal. This insight.
Oh, yes.
Capture it in writing. There's something magical about putting something that's in the ether onto a piece of paper.
Yes. Very important tool for multiple reasons. One reason would be I want to give these emotions someplace to live other than inside my body. Let them live on paper. Put them down on paper. Let the pen bleed. Let it come out. Let the anger, let the nasty, let that come out on paper. Another very helpful point for the introspection, for the journaling, is something very spiritual happens when I start to look at the part of myself I don't want to see.
Yeah.
That's the same thing as don't turn a blind eye to it. But I'm not just using pretty words like don't just turn a blind eye to it. I'm getting very clear on the thing that's kicking my ass that I need to approach on my recovery journey, that I need to heal next. I'm getting very clear on what needs to be done. So with a clear understanding of the problem, I have a clear direction ahead and for a solution.
Yeah, that's so good, bro. And like you're talking about, it's like organizing and externalizing it.
Yes.
It's like the clarity is so important when it comes to addiction. No one has clarity. I ask.
Absolutely not. Yeah, you do. You're great about asking. It's like navigating a spider's web. I'm angry and my boss is a mother. And then I'm stuck. If I don't know how to navigate a spider's web, you just get stuck in a spider's web. So you get this stuff down on paper so you have a direction ahead. And this is the thing that's kicking my ass. Introduce a spiritual practice like prayer, mantra, introspection. We'll get into more tools, I'm sure, but fitness is a great one.
100%.
Nutrition is a great one. To give your body some other, sleep is a great one. To give your body some other options than just sitting pissed.
Yeah.
But obviously we're talking about the journaling here and getting very clear on what's kicking my ass.
I've been doing a thing and it's been interesting. When I run into a homeless person, I've been doing this since I've been up here in Santa Fe. I started it once and it was so interesting. So I was like, it's like a thing that I have now. If I run up and if I see someone or talk to someone, whether it's and it doesn't matter if it's a guy, a girl, whatever, a teenager, a 65-year-old or whatever, I'll always ask them, I'll be like, have you gained like any clarity on your life? Because they'll always have a story. They have the victim story to narrate and they're in addiction. And it's gotten to the point to where they can't function. And so they're homeless. And I was like, do you have any clarity on your life or anything? And they never do. Like, they're homeless. But there's no clarity, like ever. I've never had one say, I'm like struggling with this, but I've tried to do this and I've tried. It's always go back to the victim story.
Yes.
It's never.
Yes,
like,
of course.
I'll even prompt it and be like, what are some of the things you're doing for yourself now? They're like, if I had more money or if I had a place to stay or if I had this or had that, only if it's get this, then I would be happy or I would be good or
still victim.
Yes, it's all victim.
Still.
And then the next one she talks about is recheck. So we write it down, then we recheck. This stage involves reviewing what has been written to recognize patterns. And then you in your higher self develop an antidote or a solution. And maybe you need to get some books, but maybe you can go to the library, that's free, and get some books. You can use the computers at the library if you don't have a computer, but get an antidote or a solution. And it's so cool whenever you do it, instead of just relying on some book that somebody wrote in the 1920s or something. Those are great, or a Bible or whatever. Sadhguru always says the Bible's in you. You know, like your solution inside of you, guaranteed. I would bet my life on it.
Yeah, higher self knows. Higher self definitely knows. This is what I did last week with my spiritual advisor.
Mm-hmm.
The pattern of lone wolf is what was revealed through our discussion. Yeah. And then another way to say lone wolf is just lack of humility. Mm-hmm. And that kicks everyone in the balls. That one got me dead to rights. I'll do it myself. I don't need help. Don't fucking do it. Yeah. I'll do it. If you want it done right, I'll do it myself. Right. And everybody has a little bit of that. And I do, as we always advise, I do want to be very careful telling you guys to ask for humility. Don't do that. Do not ask God for humility. Don't pray for humility. Because if you pray for that shit, God's going to give it.
You can read the book of Job and you'll know.
Well, yeah. Read Job and get some humility that way. Yeah. There are a couple ways to get humility. You can get it face to face in the world as you interact with others, or you can get it rammed up your ass because you've been the lone wolf your whole life. And I will take it face to face now. Mm-hmm. And so the pattern that was revealed was, you're doing this alone, Dwayne, and you don't have to. Mm. The moment I spoke up, boom, God gave me this powerful gift, and I wasn't alone. That had been through the same struggle already on my side, ready to walk with me down this path, down this difficult path.
That's so good, bro.
It was a miracle. She's been sick for 4 or 5 years. It was the first time I spoke up ever about it in public, and boom, I had someone with me in the moment.
Yeah, God just brought it, just showed you once again, here's a miracle. I got this.
Yeah. This is not someone I'm close to. I've judged him before in the past. I'm like, look at this dumbass. You know, and he was the one that came over and sat next to me and said, I got your back.
It's always that way. Also the ones that come up are the nice.
It was like God speaking to me. I've just cracked open. I was like, I'm so sorry. He's all for what? I was like, you don't know, but I'm just sorry.
Oh, it's so good. And then for this, the last step, number 5 is active reach. This is the final step. And this is what you did when you recognized it at the pool, but this is what you were doing. It involved consciously focusing on and normalizing the learned insights. So you're constantly focused, like you were just praying constantly, had affirmations where you had new insights, you gained consciousness on it, you created an antidote for what you needed.
Yes.
And then the key, she says, you can reconstruct your mind scientifically. They've proven this. Scientifically, you can 21 days.
Yep.
So it takes 63 days for a complete behavioral change. But in 21 days, you can reconstruct all of this. She goes, the key is to do it daily and have consistency.
Yep.
And that's what you did. And then 2 weeks later, you're like, holy shit, I haven't fucking drank. I didn't even realize, how that just.
It's so powerful, man. We talk about this all the time, you guys. We have on average, 60,000 thoughts a day. If the thought is where the neural repatterning happens, that means I have 60,000 opportunities a day to practice being the best version of myself.
Yeah.
This is the deal, especially with dealing with my mom and coming to terms with how life is going to end. Like, it's going to kill her. We are all in this game of life. It's going to kill me regardless. So if that's the case, why not live the most magnificent game possible?
Yes.
Why not go all in regards to recovery? Why not go all in regards to spiritual development, in regards to service to others, in regards to a life fulfilled? What's your alternative? Death and the pipe, death and the needle, death and the bottle, jail, institutions, insane asylums. I know what the alternative is. You guys we don't have to go down the path of death and a miserable game of life.
Right.
Why not play the most magnificent game possible? So we start doing this with that repetition, 21 days. Why stop at 21 days, 63 days? Why stop at 63 days? I'm in it for life now. It's like initially we start recovery, Jay, because our life depends on it.
Yes.
But we stay in recovery because we get such a good life from it. Things that are unfolding. I have a job. People actually want to be around me. My car is insured. Can you fucking believe it? It has 4 wheels. I can get there on time. People know that I'm going to show up where I say I'm going to be now. I'm reliable. My life takes on new meaning, and there doesn't have to be a limit to that, you guys. It can keep growing. It can keep expanding. That's that Jacob's ladder. And we know that when you tie them together, you do the neural repatterning, which is the secular biochemistry, and enter the most powerful thing in the universe, God consciousness, spirit of the universe. We start to create this beautiful dance. You could say human, and you could say being. We are the two. So it's my job to have my ego integrate with my spirit. And then the integration is that when I say, man, I'm getting such a good life from this, I don't want to stop. I want to continue down this path. So we have moments of the ego saying, let's serve the spirit. Let's do it this way because it's better. I'm getting a better life if I try and serve the spirit first instead of serve my ego first. My ego said, drink the bottle. You don't have to fucking deal with this. Drink the bottle.
Yeah, that's so good. And Esther Hicks, she talks about this. I want to give one before we go, 1 or 2 more practical things. I want you to talk about this, but this is a really good practice. And I've been doing this a lot. It's called the appreciation game. And it's just expressing gratitude for all that's good in your life and then saying it out loud or internally. And when you do the appreciation game, it shifts the focus from the negativity and it raises that fear, despair, and powerlessness. Those are the low vibrations. I'm powerless against this. I have fear, I have despair. And high vibration states that Esther Hicks talks about, or Abraham Hicks, is joy, appreciation, freedom, and love. And you can do this with others. Like I encourage you, Dwayne, do it with your kids, but I'll do it with you right now because this is so cool. You could be a plate alone or with others. You do it with your relationships. Any relationship, just play the appreciation game. And you could tell people this. So I would be like, Dwayne, I really appreciate you because you always help me and focused on physical and getting me in shape and giving me you showed me like the tools that these are the things that I need to do daily so that I can eat good. And I know that it's not boring when I make the food and I love how I look and feel. And then also what I really appreciate about our friendship is we're spiritual first. I love it. When we get together, we just start talking spiritual shit. We're not talking about the fucking Saints or who scored a touchdown. I know you love football and all that stuff, but we talk about spiritual. So I just appreciate you for that.
Yeah.
But see how that made you feel good. That makes me feel good immediately.
Yes, absolutely.
The focus to this positive vibrational alignment.
Yes. Jason, I really appreciate so much about you that you can be this big spiritual giant in my life. And when things are heavy, I know that you're a heavy hitter in my corner.
Yes.
That if I need advice, if I need someone to lean on, I don't need someone to pat me on the butt and say, it'll be okay, Dwayne. You're right. Those people are mistreating you. When I so much appreciate about when I come to you with an issue, Jay, you tell me the hard truths. You tell me but what did you do? What did you do to freak your fiance out?
Right.
What did you do? Why is she in fear around you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so you always help me flip it back to the original problem or to the only thing I can have any change with, which is me. And so take radical responsibility. I so much appreciate that from you. And I also appreciate that we have this connection to greater things. Again, if life is this game, why not play the most magnificent game? You always challenge me to travel. You challenge me to experience different areas of the world, and you challenge me to experience good things like good coffee and good croissants and incredible pasta. It's, hey, bro, I want a croissant. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm not going to fucking Walmart. Why don't we go to Rome?
Yeah,
let's get it at the St. Peter's Basilica on the fucking cobblestone road and have a pistachio croissant there. Let's do that. So you always challenge me to up level.
Yeah.
And I love that about our relationship.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. See, the appreciation game, when you could play this, you could play it with other people. You could play it inside of yourself. I love the game. Finally, the last one, we talked about this last week, so we encourage everybody, go listen to this podcast. Matt Kahn talked about whatever arises, love that. And that love is the ultimate answer to life's challenges. So let's end with that. Can you talk a little bit about whatever arises, love that, and then we'll be done? We're already over.
Shit. Again, in the same frame of playing the most magnificent game possible, I know from practical experience, Jason knows from practical experience, love is the best strategy we have when it comes to navigating the world. I can navigate the world with my ego. I can navigate the world with my fear. I can navigate the world with my selfishness. I can navigate the world with my anger and resentment. Those are strategies that are available to me. But when I play that game, people stay the hell away from me. They stop inviting me to play.
Yeah.
And then when we flip the script and we start putting spiritual principles in place and we open up that heart chakra, we open up that energy. Jason taught me long ago with Esther Hicks, love is the highest vibration that we have. Why not offer that? And so when I start offering that vibration to other people, very interesting, the world opens up to me. People start inviting me back. They're like, hey, we come back next week. Hey, I'll meet you at the gym tomorrow. Let's do that again. They invite me back to play.
Yeah.
So we start winning. This is the meta game. We start winning the big game of life because I'm no longer sacrificing the big game for the selfish victory in the present moment.
Yeah, that's so good. Guys, and Dwayne, thank you for breaking down. You did a great job in how we can work with our emotions and sharing the personal stories instead of against them. I think the three biggest takeaways, guys, and I want you guys to go back and re-listen to this because it'll help you. First, resistance to feelings creates more suffering than the feelings themselves. Number two, emotions are just data, guys. That's all it is. Emotions are data. They're trying to tell you something important. And then third, you can literally rewire your brain. Look up Caroline Leaf. She has a ton of stuff on YouTube. In 21 days, you don't have to be religious. You don't have to listen to our woo bullshit. The Neuro-Cycle process in 21 days, you can do it. And then I know Dwayne threw out some recommended resources. I did too. I'm going to put those links in there in the show notes. So you guys go down to those. And then if you want to look at the courses that we have and all the information, we're building a community out on the website. All of those things are happening. So go to our website, recoveredaddictpodcast.com.